Is my mic?
Hi, everyone. This is CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and you're watching another episode of Weird Witches Witchcraft. And this week, I am here with my co-host, Obsidian Fire. Say hello.
She's back. Unfortunately, she's back. Bonjour tout le monde. J'espère que ça va, que vous êtes plus réveillés que moi, que vous êtes mieux adaptés au changement d'heure. Et voilà. Et cette semaine, on va parler de Money Magic, je crois. Donc voilà. J'espère que ça va vous plaire. N'hésitez pas à participer ou à laisser des commentaires après la vidéo.
Yes. So tonight, in all of what she said something, something with me. And then she said something, 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 money magic. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about money magic, prosperity magic. We've had a couple of shows where we talk about different types of spell working. I think we covered moon magic at one point.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. For those of you watching, you can go look at there's a playlist of all these episodes, so you can go check it out. But tonight we're going to talk about, like I said, money magic or prosperity magic. I do want to mention that both Obsidian and I are really low energy levels tonight.
Yeah.
So bear with us. I've had a really tough day. It's been really hard to get through the day. I'm ready to crawl into bed right now and go to sleep. I know she just woke up and she dragged herself out of bed for this show. So just bear with us. It's a low energy day. So a day for her, night for us here. So bear with us. If you have questions, in regards to money magic, please don't be shy. I know there are people in chat so far. Hello,
Hi.
Apollo. Hi, Cyrus. Hi, Diana. Hi, Per. Hi, Adamus. Hi, Stu. That's who we've got in the show chat right now. Yes.
I totally forgot to pick the
chat. See? Low level energy tonight. Low level energy. So I mean, in case this is the first episode of Weird Witches Witchcraft that you're watching, I think I just want to, sort of say that when we talk about money magic, when Obsidian and I have conversations like about moon magic or love magic or blood magic or whatever magic, we're addressing,
whatever magic is
whatever
really
magic we're talking about. There's an understanding here that you have a base knowledge of how magic works, because we're not going to go into detail. We are doing a show or episodes about spell crafting, and we're doing spell casting. There are other episodes where we go more into, the details, right? Here, we're just sort of throwing out ideas about if you're looking to do some sort of money magic, if you need some prosperity, some wealth, if you have bills you want to pay. We're going to just kind of discuss some ideas or ways that you could go about to bring in that money magic. And there's this understanding that, you have to do mundane work as you have to do the work in the mundane, daily, practical things while you're doing your magic. You can't just light a green candle and sit in your house watching Walking Dead or Stranger Things or playing Elder Scrolls Online and think the money's coming to you, right? So you got to do the work in the mundane while you're working your magic. Oh, thank you, Apollo. He's going to send energy to both of us. Aw, thank you.
That's nice.
I know. Of course she loves your nickname. She loves your online screen name, Apollo. Of course she does. And of course you sending her energy is going to be special.
Yeah, for sure.
Aw, that's so sweet. Aw. So,
Oh, yeah.
well, Obsidian and I were talking just briefly before the show, and you were saying, Obsidian, that you haven't really done or had to or felt the need to do many spells for money or wealth or prosperity.
Yeah. Well, money, especially prosperity, I've tried a couple of times, but it was the first thing I was about to mention because it's out of personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as usual, you will say, as usual, it's always the case, but especially in this case, you need to believe that you are worthy of
Mm-hmm.
what you are trying to um, attract.
Mm-hmm.
Law of attraction. If if inside, thank you, Cyrus. If you do not feel that you are worthy of prosperity, you want success to attract it to you. Your true will, your true feelings needs to be aligned with your goal. And the fact is, I wasn't aligned with prosperity, and I'm still not. So I failed. It's the only spells who failed me.
Yeah.
So
Having that understanding of what your relationship is to money is gonna be a big influence
yeah,
in doing magic, dealing with money.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I prosperity, especially in a way of, improving your money financial situation or your job situation, in this mind, prosperity in this mind, you really need to pay attention on how do you really think you are in front of money or professional prosperity, or because if you do not believe in, truly into yourself, if you do not believe you can, or you are worthy of, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
not
so true. It is
gonna,
so true, especially, and if you don't feel you're worthy of it, and you don't think not only you're not worthy of it, but you don't think that anything you do,
yeah,
especially maybe you have success in protection magic, but if you feel like, I don't know why I'm even trying this isn't going to happen,
yeah,
it's not going to work for you. So yeah, having a very clear understanding of your relationship and your ability. So, that's going to be a big, sort of foundation of where you're starting from.
yeah. Absolutely, because in a matter of prosperity, especially, I did not believe I was able to do that, to actually make it happen for me for some reason. But when it was about, getting out of a delicate moment with bringing more money,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah. I find for me, if I'm very specific, so if I just, so if well, in the past, my family, if it's been tight with finances or we've needed just a little extra, I always found that if I just did a spell to just get more money, that it didn't quite manifest as quickly or successfully as if I asked for more clients.
yeah, I see.
So for me, having the business and doing tarot readings, I knew that if we needed, an extra $40 that week, I know that if I went to the altar and I cast a spell for prosperity, but specifically to get more clients so that we could have more money. You know, I did correspondences for money, but sort of when I did my visualization, the money came in the hands of clients. That was like, I would light the candle and within an hour, I'd get a phone call of someone trying to book an appointment. You know, it was that quickly. Where when I was very sort of just tried to do visualization with, you know, like bills falling from the sky or whatever, you know, a windfall of money, it was very difficult. And, you know, if I was asking for an extra $40, I was lucky to get 5. You know, oh, look, I found a $5 bill. And, you know, it's difficult. So I think knowing, like I had said, you know, doing the work in the mundane, I had no problem doing tarot readings. That's what I did for my business. I was prepared for that. I was ready for that. But just tripping on extra bills was not something I could actually work towards, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, totally. And that's probably why, but in the other, on the reverse, you know, why I didn't get through any of the spells related to my job, professional activity.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I wasn't believing in it. And it's the, again, it's the opposite. It's a rare occurrence because usually we are matching, but it's the opposite on this time when we were tight on finances and I needed more money to come. I didn't focus into my job.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, you know, attracting more money, visualizing. I'm just difficult to say. Not you know, abstract things, but you know, like a check coming into my mailbox from
Right.
wherever or whoever, and things like this. It worked perfectly fine.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, the fact that it works differently for you and I think that's important for our viewers to understand because it's who we are and what we do in our mundane lives that would affect how we're doing our magic. So for me, clearly, it was easy to just imagine, you know, that clients were bringing me money because, you know, that was an occurrence that happened. This specific week, I just needed extra clients to come. So the momentum for that was already there. There was already a flow of energy there.
Yeah.
So
And
for you, I mean, obviously your work is different than mine.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different. I mean, well, I could think of ways that it could have occurred if people did their jobs correctly in your work. You could have gotten, you know, checks in the mail from your line of work if it was handled correctly.
And I bet, and any about prosperity magic, not just money, especially prosperity magic. There is a couple of reasons why the few spells I've casted failed. Because obviously the people I was working with didn't do their job correctly, as you mentioned, and none of what I've tried changed this. But I wasn't believing it was gonna change. You know, it's you know, negativity. I was, I want success. And while I was trying to get the momentum, be more positive, working on the spell, I was aware of too many doubts I had at the moment, and I was, you're gonna fail, girl. And I did fail.
Yeah. Well, if you already thought it was going to fail anyway, you already had that feeling. Yeah. I find that those things that, you know, if I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a spell for this money, wealth, whatever, or anything, And I'm
anything.
already feeling like,
Yeah,
why are you doing this? You know, for whatever reason, whether you have a person, whether I have a personal resistance to it, or I just can feel the energies are not aligned, like I'm being influenced by other things, or it's not the right, I can feel, I've learned now to not even bother, because it's
yeah,
almost like fighting against the tide.
yeah,
It's like, why even bother?
yeah. That's so true, and yeah, that's so true, and it can be applied to um, any type of spell or
Yeah.
magic working or energy working or
Yeah.
anything. The easiest way to sum that up, it would be, if you doubt, don't do it. You're
Yeah.
gonna miss it. You're gonna fail.
Yeah.
You have to believe. You have to believe in yourself, in your ability, in what you do. You have to believe, really believe, that you are worthy of, or that
Hmm.
your this and this gonna be a success. If you do not believe, yeah, do not bother.
Yeah. Don't
it's
even.
it's a waste of energy.
So Cyrus Moonside in
Mhm.
chat uh, made a comment, and I wanna talk about this. I'm assuming he. Forgive me if it's she. I strongly think that it's also your intention what you do with the money, and or if you need the money has an effect. And I think what he or she is saying is that if you're casting a spell for money, or prosperity in the form of money, and she believes that it depends on what you're going to do with that money as to whether the spell will manifest, and or if you need it. What are
Well,
your
I
thoughts on that?
um, yes, again, it's yeah, gonna it's gonna be difficult one day where I am so low. Okay, I'm gonna try anyway. I think, again, it's about how do you perceive that, because if you think that the reason why you are casting is not a good reason, and the use you're gonna have with the money is not nice, or you didn't deserve, then you're gonna fail, because you feel that you should not, or maybe it's not a good way to obtain more money, or if it's, again, it's you. If in your side, in yourself, inside, you think, maybe I should not cast because it's not that important, or then you're gonna have $2 and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and I think with that, I think it depends on a couple of things. Not only that, with your own perception, but also what you're working with in regards to the energy. Because my first thought is, you know
Mhm.
what, magic doesn't have morality. Magic
No,
itself doesn't have morality. So whatever you're going to do with the money, the magic, the energy doesn't care.
don't care.
It's energy, magic doesn't care what you're going to do with it. It's
It's
the
like
person.
electricity, you know. It's all like just more mass. It's like a knife. You can use a knife to pick the knife. Let's say knife is the magic energy, magical energy. You can use the knife to make a delicious dinner for your siblings, or you can use the knife to kill someone.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that
Yeah,
wide, you know.
yeah. So I mean, if the individual person has a certain morality, has certain ethics, and they feel that, number one, they shouldn't do magic for themselves, then, you know, they're going to have an issue when they try to do magic for themselves.
Yeah.
So with the money situation, I mean, if we look at it, if someone feels that it's wrong to cast a spell for money for them to go on vacation, but it's okay for them to cast a spell for money to pay the bills or to feed their kids, then that individual witch is going to have a hard time casting a spell to get money to go on a vacation to France.
Yeah.
Because do they really need the vacation? No,
Yeah.
but they really need to feed their children. So
Yeah.
that individual witch may have a hard time. I
Yeah.
personally think it's best to cast spells for things you want because there's already an emotional desire to want it. So I think that actually will work better, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree. And I tend to avoid, when I cast for anything, I tend to avoid words like need. Because it's kind of, too negative in my ear.
Yeah, well, I look at it, and I think I have a video on my channel about wants and needs. If not, I know I have a blog post about it. But when you focus on what you need, when you even use words like I need this, I really need this, it's because there is a focus on what you don't have. There's a focus on the lack. You need it because you don't have it. And even though you may be wording things very positively, something in your mind is saying, well, I really need this. There's a desperation. That desperation is built in fear of not having it. But when we look at things, especially with money, if we already understand we have money and we're focused on the money that we might already have, I just want more money to do different things, then you're not doing it out of fear. And that's why the whole idea of being in a vibration of gratitude and thankfulness and, pleasure and happiness. I have money to feed my children. I do. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm happy for that. I want more so I can go on vacation to France.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. So, if I hope it answers the question.
Yeah, I think it does. I don't know if, well, it wasn't really a question. It was a comment that I wanted to address. I think that it is also okay. I'm a he. Okay. Magic only works if you believe it will. And we kind of addressed that too. We said you need to really be in that vibration of, you're worthy of it and you have the ability to do it. If you're doubting your ability, then you're putting up these resistances. So if you think of a witch, say, for example, I don't know, Fey Maiden, this witch next door wants money for, to buy a new car. She wants a car. She doesn't have a car. So, but she has been brought up her whole life, as a child in a family that really was, lower middle class, really had to struggle to make ends meet. So her childhood, she only wore hand-me-downs, and her mother had to rely on food banks for food, and they were constantly getting evicted from one place to another. Say she was living a childhood very, in poverty level. So she already has this relationship with money that puts up one resistance. So she needs to overcome this perception that there's not enough money for everybody. There's this belief. So that's one resistance already. And then as she, grows up, she, goes to school, then she gets a job, but she's having difficulty finding a job that's making a lot of money, and they only give her part-time hours. So now as an adult, not only did she have this belief that it was difficult to make money, now she's having that's nice. Thank you. This was not a begging for money, Apollo. Thank you. We were not asking for money.
It's
I'm going to have money to go to France. Trust me. Um,
That's so sweet. Thank
I
you.
know. Thank you. So Faye Maiden then, in her experience in her adult life, has like this proof that I have a job, but I can't even make enough money in my job. So now if, and then maybe she feels like all this is happening because what? She's not worthy to have what she wants. She's not worthy to make the big bucks. She's only going to ever have these low paying jobs. So all these things she would need to address and overcome before she could really cast a prosperity spell, because she already has these beliefs in place, and she may not even believe that she has the power to, as witch, to overcome these things too, after having such a life experience. So it can be very difficult.
Very. And in this kind
Thank you.
in this kind of situation, it's a really tricky situation, because then the person has to first work on himself or herself, and this can be very long. I would suggest doing a good amount of shadow working,
Yes.
a good amount of it, to really get out of this way of thinking,
Yes.
or maybe rethink the professional choice, maybe to go into something more who brings more happiness, if it's not more money, at least gonna be in a more positive vibration. And then maybe, well, shadow working, this person gonna be able to cast something for himself or herself, to who will bring more joy or more, and that gonna go along, but it's a very difficult situation, because
It is.
society learns us that, for most part, that we are not so worthy.
Yeah. And
In
society, I feel like, tells us that there isn't enough for everyone. And
Yeah,
you have
which
to push other people out of the way to get a bigger piece of the pie,
yeah,
when the universe is limitless and there is more than enough for everyone.
yeah,
Um,
there is. Proof is there is a bunch of people on the planet who's making more money for themselves than millions of us.
mhm.
There is
There is.
plenty.
Mhm.
There is plenty. So we need to believe that first, and it's difficult because the society learns us to be just, at labor, to work, fighting for what we just we deserve
Mhm.
everything. But no,
I know.
growing up, learning you should work hard to maybe have a little teeny place to live in. Yeah, no, but it's a pressure we keep for on our shoulder for so long. It's difficult to get rid of it, and I think a good bunch of us needs to work on this and to do shadow working, especially about prosperity and money magic, because it's a barrier. There is a huge resistance in that.
Yes,
I
there is. There is.
from us, I think.
Yeah.
Same with sorry.
No, that's okay.
Same with how do I use the money? It's a perception again. You get the right to go on vacation. Didn't you work enough
Yeah.
or hard enough?
Right.
But there is guilt. Like you shouldn't cast anything for yourself. It's the same. It's guilt. It's about guilt. I'm sorry, but for me, witchcraft isn't out of guilt.
Hmm.
it's out of power.
I agree.
So okay, so when you are in a state of guilt, it's time to do shadow working because there
Exactly.
is who do not work.
Yeah, and really unraveling, I know I've said it and I'm going to say it again, really unraveling your perception of money and your relationship with money and really examining that over and over and over again is going to be a big part of that, you know.
Yeah.
And like for the example that I had given everybody with that Fey Maiden example, you know, if she really finds that it's difficult for her to understand that she should be given money in some way, like you suggested, if she looks at the other things that bring her joy. So maybe she likes to sketch. Maybe she likes to, you know, do drawings with, you know, pencil or charcoal. Maybe that's just a hobby. Maybe she loves to do that. Well, maybe when she's doing that, because she only works part-time, so, you know, she spends a lot of time sketching, that she finds a way to sell these sketches. Maybe and in that way, because she's doing something she loves, she'll put so much energy and effort and create things that she likes that there's probably an audience for that and someone will buy it for her. The problem might come up then that when she starts accepting money for it, she then starts questioning her own talent or her own abilities. But then she can work through that. But I mean, that's a different thing, you know?
Yes, it is. It's related, but it's different. And yeah, it probably gonna happen in this example, but one step at a time. First, you need to get out of the idea you do not worth more money or you are not able to do more money to make more money.
Right.
So it's one step at a time.
Right. Now,
And
when you did do money spells or prosperity spells, what were the ones that did sort of work for you, even if they didn't, you know, bring you millions, but the ones that were sort of successful? What was sort of your method in that?
well, it was more about money, you know, really the really material, the cash things, you know, than prosperity. The prosperity, personal prosperity. Hey,
I know. Thank you, Brooklyn. I'm going to look at her question in a minute, but
yeah, thanks.
I know. What the heck is going on?
Oh, it is so sweet. Thank you. What was I saying?
The spells. I asked you what method worked for you, or what did you do, and you were saying for the cash money.
Well, there was no resistance in the idea that I need right now to have this or this. Okay, so I have, it's okay, I can do my life, but I want more to do that or to do that. And in one or two specific case, there wasn't enough financial resource for us to meet the end of the month. So it was like an emergency because I do have a kid to feed. So, but there wasn't any resistance. So I came to my altar and I did. The last one was a candle magic. I did this spell, and it came out quickly with more money. And this is an interesting case. I think you're gonna see why. The weeks after that, a check came into my mailbox, and it was from just the amount I had to have to meet the end of the month because I wasn't asking for more. It was just getting out of one specific tricky situation, and I knew that just after that, gonna be all right. So I was in this mindset when I cast it.
I think you told me about this when this happened.
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
And it's you see what, so if it's the same case you have in mind, you see why it is interesting, because it wasn't how to use that, inheritance,
Inheritance. Yep.
when someone died and you have more money. And that's something I've seen a lot. I don't want to cast for prosperity or money magic because I'm in fear that someone would die for me to have more money. Yeah, okay, so stay away from your altar if you think that, because maybe you're gonna make someone die. I mean, you have too much of this in your head. And in my case, this person I was he inheriting
Hmm.
from died half a year ago. Hmm? I knew already this person died, but I wasn't aware I would be one of the people gonna have a, a bit of money. When I've casted this person was already passed away. So I didn't provoke this person's death.
Right.
It has nothing to do with it. But suddenly someone finds that, hey, she should have money too.
Right.
You see? So yeah. So on this time it happens like this, and it was just the amount I needed to have to meet the end of the month. And I did a couple of other money spam.
Are they
And
all usually candle magic spells for that?
yeah, usually because most of the time it's I would like to have more money now. And usually when when I want things to happen fast, I'm using candle magic,
Yeah.
because it's in my opinion and in my practice, again, it is just about me. It's the quickest way to get ready is doing a candle spell, a candle magic spell.
Yeah.
It's the quickest for me. But
Yeah.
maybe I'm really used to work with fire, so it's quick to set up and
Yeah. I was looking at past money spells that I've done. I mean, and there's a really simple one that you can do if you are, sort of intimidated doing big ones. A very simple one that I used to do if I'm looking for, and I would do this if I wasn't looking for a big amount of cash, but little increments, something quick. Taking a bay leaf, one or two, however, and putting it in your wallet where the bills go and carrying that with you.
I
Do you
with
do
a
that?
but not with belief, with a citrine. I don't know
Oh,
how
there
to
you
say.
go. Yeah, citrine.
And the very week I've put one into my wallet, mm, money starts to come.
Yeah.
So
I don't really, I just did a show with Adam about crystals. I don't really use too many crystals in my practice, but a bay leaf, I don't even remember where I learned that. I think it was someone from the metaphysical shop that I used to work at. They did it, and they're like, yeah, just throw a bay leaf or a couple of bay leaves in your wallet where the cash goes. Um, and it worked. But like I said, when I've used it, it hasn't been for like, big amounts of money. It's just to get a little extra, little, pocket change, but really bills, not change.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But for the big money change, professional change, it's more about prosperity magic, I suppose. The way I understand money magic is more like extra cash.
yeah, well,
They,
I don't know. I think it depends on the individual and
yeah,
how they're wording it. That's why I use money magic / prosperity. Prosperity can be more than just money. You could be wanting more, I don't know, clients in your business or whatever. But money specifically is a part of prosperity. I've done jars, money jars or spell bags, things like that work too. Um, but yeah, I think jars are the ones I do the most. And in the upcoming practical witchcraft series, there's going to be an example of a money jar spell just for you. Not you, Obsidian, but the viewers. So there's a question here that we're going to ask. So Brooklyn Dosey, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, says, hey, I love your channel. What are your thoughts on witchcraft and capitalism? I've been reading a lot about crystal mining being paralleled to the blood diamond industry.
That's a huge topic.
It is a huge topic.
That's a huge topic. The first thing that came into my mind when I read the question was more about the planet Earth.
Yeah.
First off, even before considering capitalism, it's about ecology, I think, and I think we should really be conscious of how we are killing the planet. And making holes on the earth to find diamond is as bad as cutting the Amazonian forest. And we are just cutting the branch we sit on. And this is the world we're gonna pass on to our child. I mean, that's so bad, man. So bad.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's more of a not just crystals, not just diamonds, but it's the things that we take from the earth. I think we're taking more than we're cultivating. So every one tree we cut down, we plant, fine, but how many years does it take for that tree to grow to where we're going to cut it again? And I think we're using the paper and the products that the trees make quicker than we can replenish it. Personally, in my craft, I don't use crystals and those kind of things. I actually use stones, like rocks, not crystals, but like rocks, that you find outside. I actually pick up rocks from places that hold significance for me, and I use them in my craft. I have one giant crystal cluster, but that was gifted to me from someone who had it, who was gifted to them. So that's more like it's being passed on. I don't know who the first person was that bought it. I don't know what their thoughts are, but I don't tend to use a lot of crystals, and I don't own too many diamonds except, the one that my husband gave me. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's just the witchcraft industry. I think it's
the
all different. Yeah.
It's the way of the
society
planet.
in general.
Yeah. It's not just witchcraft. I mean, there is obviously an industry in witchcraft now, but there is everywhere else. And it responds to the same, how do you say it? It's like in the same square of way of thinking, it's all in the same little box. Everything is made of capitalism for a few bunch of people, not for us. Anyway, and everything is made to push people to consume more and more and more and more. So it's not just about witchcraft. It's the whole fucking society, which is responsible for
Yeah,
that.
no, I agree. And I feel like it's not necessarily the witchcraft. If you're going to say crystals, quartz and all that is witchcraft, I honestly think it's more new age. Yes, there are witches that have it, but when you're looking at more traditional witchcraft, crystals weren't really a part of that
No,
until
for me.
more modern times. I mean, because witches really, were living out in nature. And unless they found the crystal, they didn't really go to the stores to buy it. I mean, if you think back to your great 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 grandma who was, using ointments and salves and teas and soups and tinctures and potions and brews, I don't think I think you're gonna find a very few who had crystals.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I think that's more of a modern thing.
yeah, I
Uh,
think so. I do have a bunch of crystals, but it's more they are more there to help feeding the space with specific energy,
mhm.
or to balance my own energy or my siblings' energy. But I don't, let's say, I don't pick crystals to put it in a bag or a jar or, no, it's not for me at least. So,
Mm.
but I do understand the question. It's true, there is a lot of crystals to buy,
Yeah.
a
You could
lot.
you could break your purse trying to collect
Yeah.
them all.
You
Thank
see,
you, Brooklyn.
but you don't need to pay to ask a
I
question,
know, I know. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you. So,
Um,
hey,
Marco Waters is commented, I remember a big money spell I did to pay all my bills. It was a 7-day candle magic
yeah.
spell. After completion, it manifested in 3 days with the necessary amount, plus a little more. I think
Mhm.
this is good because I think personally, it's that idea of building up momentum of an intention. So if you are having difficulty trying to manifest more wealth in your life, doing something like a 7-day candle spell or doing a spell that is a long-term spell. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a candle spell, but I think that having that visual of burning the candle just so much each day is helpful. But if
Yeah.
you're doing something over a phase, even sort of like the a week or a moon phase, a full lunar phase, a spell that you say you really need a large amount of money, maybe it might take more than 7 days. Maybe it may take 10 days to manifest it for you. But doing something over that period of time will keep your focus on what it is you're trying to manifest and will really help build the momentum of your spell, especially if you have some resistance to it.
Yeah. But it's a good, it, I agree, it's a good point of focus
Mm.
because it's very visual. And as we are living in this material vessel, in this specific reality, material reality, it's
Hmm.
helpful to have something material to focus on. For me, witchcraft is essentially about focusing
Yeah.
and centering energy because we are not the only thing who emits energy and vibration. There is vibration and energy everywhere. So if you gather a bit more and you focus right, you're going to be able to use that. So focusing is a good point. And this specific 7 days or 9 days candle can
Hmm.
be really helpful to keep your mind set on your goal.
Right. Brooklyn, thank you again. And um, the comment, it's not really a question this time, but Brooklyn is saying, I feel like witchcraft is trendy now. And so people are trying to profit off of it, but to a point where we're unnecessarily raping the earth. And again, I don't know. I don't know. I talked about this too on that show with Adam. So it was just a few days ago. So I would encourage you, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. But be prepared, it was 2 hours long. And I kind of got crazy on that show.
It's a broad
Did you
topic,
watch it? Did you watch it,
not
Obsidian?
but
Oh
not
my
yet.
God. I kind of got crazy and I wasn't even drinking. That was
Next time,
fun. That was fun, but it was crazy. It was long, but we talked about witchcraft being trendy. And I made a comment there where I don't know if it's necessarily trendy. I don't know. I don't think witchcraft is meant to be trendy anyway. So I don't know. And I definitely think people are trying, or companies, or even individual people are trying to profit from this. I'm going to call it lifestyle, this way of living. But I don't know. I think regardless of that, we are sort of unnecessarily taxing the planet anyway, whether it's witchcraft or not.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. If you just think of the amount of food we waste on every country that can afford to produce a lot of food, just think of how many food is thrown away.
Yes.
This is a much more bigger waste than the witchcraft industry, and that would be my first concern before anything else. This is a huge problem, and that impact anything, the ground, the animals, the anything. That is much more destructive than any profits that are trying to make, and that industry are trying to make with witchcraft. There is much more problem before that, but obviously it's the way the society is functioning, trying to make money for a bunch of people. So if they have the feeling that something is working, they're gonna flow the market with this.
Yep.
And it happens with witchcraft, but it happens with anything. It can happen with toys, with perfume, name it, you have it. It's just, it's not a problem about witchcraft. It's the way the society functions. This is the problem.
I agree. I mean, witchcraft is an example that is valid. I mean, people are, sort of, using it to profit from. I mean, we'd be a fool to think that they're not. But it's not just witchcraft. You can point to other spiritual paths that people will use to sell things. I mean, that this kind of flows into cultural appropriation too. But if we're focusing on the earth, other industries destroy the earth as well.
Yeah, Brooklyn says, I'm definitely not opposed to metaphysical shops, but by any means, but I wish more shops would ethically source their products. And I
Yeah.
agree with that. And I am careful when
But how, if we think about that, if we're talking about something, I mean, and this kind of is still on the money magic topic, but we're talking about money in general. How can we really ethically source crystals? And how do we know when we've sourced enough and we need to stop?
That's a good question. The only, and this is even not an answer, but the only example I have in mind for that is locally. Most of the time, it's about a local shop, because for instance, I've met a guy who is selling crystals, but a bunch of it. And he goes in the country where he choose his crystal, the crystals he's gonna sell. He choose it on the place, on the country, and he took it from, not huge mining, but little, so it's from local to one other, local to one other, in a reasonable amount each time, and it's passed on, you see. So there is not huge mining, too much. No, it's just a little familial business, and he bought his crystal from there, and he brings it, and then he goes from place to place selling it on open marketplace. That's an example, I would say. But it's difficult for many of us. It's difficult if you want to get crystal. It's difficult to find some people like this. So the quickest and easiest way gonna be to go on internet, choose a site, ordered, make it ship.
Yeah, and you're not gonna know.
You can no.
No, you're not.
You're not.
Yeah.
We're not far from our topic now.
Yeah, I know, and it's almost time to stop. So I just does anybody have any last questions about money magic specifically, or a comment that you want to share just before we end? Because we end at 9:30. We started a little late, so we have maybe about 5 minutes, and I'd kind of like to wrap this up with actual talking about money magic. We've kind of gone off on capitalism and stuff.
Yeah, so
I kind of want to just bring it back. Let's see.
As we are talking in this kind of episode, more about the spirit of the idea, the way of approaching this or this type of magic, I guess we could sum up what we've said by you need to be aligned with your intention. If you do not believe you're worth it, any money more or prosperity, just do not bother and start by some shadow work or anything of this kind. You have to be aligned. You have to believe, and you have to feel at ease with the fact you're gonna have more money or more prosperity. If you are in guilt or any type of feelings along this way, that's gonna be true.
I agree. And I would just encourage any witch to, when you're looking at specifically money spells or money magic, when you're talking, or if you use, I encourage people to use correspondences when you do your magic. For me, herbs, smelling, burning the herbs. We've talked about incense and how big that is for at least me, and I know Obsidian is big on incense too. Using correspondences that make sense to you. So what I mean by this is, here in the United States, our bills are green, which, green money, our coins are copper and silver plated, so silver. We don't have very many gold coins, but for me, gold equals money. If you're in a different country where your paper money may not be green, maybe it's a different color, maybe you, because of the actual money and currency you use, maybe you don't even use bills and coins anymore. Maybe you're someone like me that uses the debit card. Then when you're doing your money spell, keep these things in mind. Back in the day, we used to write checks. I don't write checks anymore. So writing a check to me to myself as part of a money spell doesn't make sense to me because I don't receive checks anymore either. It's all direct deposit. So when you're doing your money spells, keep these things in mind. So if you read a spell online or in a book that talks about writing a check to yourself or using coins, if it doesn't make sense to you, then don't do it, even though it may work for someone else, especially when you're dealing with such a topic like money, where there is already so much resistance.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it works for any type of magic, but especially
Money. Yeah.
money. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, for
No.
me, when we're talking herbs and the correspondences like patchouli, I use patchouli in my money magic. And I use basil in my money magic and the bay leaves. Those are traditionally ones for prosperity and money. They work well. I use them because they do work well. So those make sense to me. But I would encourage you to find correspondences. There's power in traditional correspondences. We don't have enough time to talk about that. Maybe we can at another time. Maybe we have. I don't know. Go check our playlist. But there's power in correspondences, traditional correspondences, but only if they make sense to you.
Yeah. In the most of the time, we can find so I'm so tired.
Correspondences that work for us?
Yes. Because there is no just one herb for one thing.
Yeah.
Or one crystal or one tree or one whatever
One
for
flower,
one thing.
one color. Yeah.
Color, yeah. Or even tarot card if you want.
Right.
There is no thing like this because nothing is black or white there is all gray. So you need to just take your time, go through your correspondences, and you're gonna find something that talks to you actually. Take your time and you can match up some traditional correspondences meaning and what you feel.
Yeah, I agree. So we're definitely at our end. It's 9:34. So we're definitely at our end. Next week, I think we have Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think we have Aaron on the show next week. So we're going to be doing quick readings for everyone as we do every other month. So I need to just double check. That's what's planned for next week. And I think I looked at the schedule. God damn it. I should have brought it up. The following week, just real quick, YouTube folder, Wyrds, Witches, Witchcraft, schedule. Aaron, the week after that, April 19th, is Adam, who I was on his channel this week earlier. He's going to come on here with us and he's going to talk about, or we're going to discuss, the witch's relationship with demons and spiritual entities. So we're going to be talking about that. And then April 26th, we haven't decided what we're going to talk about, but it'll be Obsidian and I chit-chatting again with you. I don't know about what. We have to figure that out. And that will wrap up April.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
No. It came so fast.
Crazy. I know. All right. So 9:35. We got to sign off. Oh, hey, if you're not a member of Wyrds, Witches, Witchcraft, it's a Facebook group. You should join. So Obsidian's going to say goodnight to you.
Yeah, I will. Good night. No, I'm kidding.
Bonsoir? No. Yeah?
Yeah. Bonsoir. Bonjour, parce qu'à l'heure qu'il est, il est 6h30. Ça fait 2 heures que je suis debout. La journée va être longue. Bon, on est parti complètement hors sujet, mais j'espère que ça vous aura intéressé quand même. Et voilà. Sinon, tant pis. Et puis, on se voit peut-être la semaine prochaine, du coup. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone. I love you. Until next time, blessed be.
Bye.
Good night. Gonna hit